Jimmy Thank from Maximum PC here checking out Alienware's Area 51. I'm here speaking with Alienware's Eddie.
Hey, what's up?
And Eddie, can you sort of walk us through what we're looking at here exactly?
Sure. So we're really proud to announce the new Area 51. As many of you know, the Area 51 has been away being developed into this brand new beautiful chassis. Now the new chassis has been dubbed Triad. That's the code name for the chassis itself. The first thing you'll notice is it's very iconic, very unique shape, something that most gamers around the world haven't seen up until we announced this at PAX. And it's a very functional design. It's not just a design that's meant to catch people's eyes, even though it constantly does that. The shape actually has two design principles that it's focused around. And one of them is optimized thermal management. The other one is ergonomics. So when considering thermals, the system actually has a front diagonal surface which all the ambient air from your room comes in. There are actually some fans behind this that we'll show you in a few moments. And then the air travels inside the chassis and it exits through the rear. Now, most gamers have rectangular desktop chassis, and the typical experience is that they have them under their desk, typically against the wall. And in those situations, there's very little clearance between the wall and the unit itself. So what ends up happening is a lot of that hot air gets choked up, dust collects, that dust can affect the fans, and by not having constant fresh air flowing through those components, that could damage your components over time. This diagonal back here will allow that hot air or the warmer air to escape with more freedom than it would if it were rectangular. So that's definitely a plus. But having these diagonal cutouts also allow for the user to access the front ports or the rear ports with a lot more ease than they would if it were rectangular. Think about all the countless times that you actually duck under the table to reach for a cable or to just literally just, have that movement where you move.
All right, the ports are like in the front right here, right?
Yeah, sure. So if you're connecting something to the front or the rear, you're going to have that more comfortable experience. So if you're sitting on a chair, think about it. You have a line of sight to these buttons, line of sight to these ports, and the optical bay. Now, if you want to get inside, it's actually really easy too. We made the case to be very, very easy to access. So if you're DIY, all your DIY wishes will be met very, very nicely. See how easy that was? It was kind of like opening a car door. There's basically one latch in the back, and everything comes off. So that's toolless, no cables to work with. The Alien Effects lighting actually makes contact with a passive connector here. So this is a very, very clean setup. And again, there's 3 zones on this surface.
Gotcha. On
both sides, actually. So looking inside, the first thing that I wanted to share is actually, if you look at this huge opening, we designed it that way on purpose. So we know that a lot of our gaming fan base, they like to show off their rigs. They like to upgrade their own systems, and this case is designed exactly for that audience. So you can see how everything is very accessible, very visible. You can see where every component is, and making future upgrades should be a breeze. So this system is debuting with Intel's Haswell-E processors, DDR4 memory, and the X99 chipset. And it'll support NVIDIA or AMD graphics in single, dual, triple, and even quad GPU configurations like dual Titan Zs.
Cool, so it's a pretty high end.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we cover a broad range, so you'll have single graphics at the beginning price point, and then all the way to triple graphics cards.
Okay, and then it's Haswell-E only, or it can go up to Haswell-E?
It's Haswell-E only. So
we'll start with
Core i7, 6-core processors, all the way to the 8-core option as well.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever consider doing a glass or like a plastic side see-through?
That's interesting. So we may, so the future's bright. We want to make sure that, everyone, we wanted to get the response from gamers. We think it's going to be very, very positive. All our initial experiments, our initial data and focus groups have told us that this design is going to kick ass. Just because, well, for one, it's a follow-on from the industrial design that we launched with the current generation notebooks that you've seen in the past, and it caters to the high-performance community by enabling such high-performance components in that system as well. But anything's possible. So if our customers really want to have that kind of a side panel, we can definitely investigate that kind of a
Cool.
solution for sure.
Can you also talk about the handles? You mentioned that there's like 3 different handles that allow you to move the case and pick up the case and whatnot.
Yeah, sure. So the 3 corners of the chassis are actually not. So one thing about this chassis is it was designed with purpose. Every decision that was made going into this chassis design was to enable an easy experience for the common issues that a hardcore gamer faces when they buy a full tower desktop. So carrying the case for one. There are 2 handles, or there are 3 handles on the bottom. So you can grab the system from the bottom like this, like so, or you can actually pick it up from the top as well. And you can do that with having the confidence that you're not going to break any of the surfaces. Some other chassis that are out there, they have panels and surfaces that are really just cosmetic and have no structural value. So you might end up cracking or even breaking the shell of your desktop. That's not going to happen with the Area 51.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It certainly looks very interesting. I don't know if it's for everybody, but it's nice to see Alienware back, in the high-end enthusiast desktop market.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, if you look at the chassis from this side, you might notice a few things might be missing, namely the storage drives, right? So where are the storage drives? They're actually on the other side of the desktop. So if I really easily...
So it works for both sides?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So on this side, you'll find you have your optical drive, which will offer as a DVD burner or a Blu-ray reader. And then there's several bays supporting traditional hard drives as well as solid-state drives. And this is great, again, because it's going to separate all the thermal activity from the graphics cards and the hard drives, as well as removing all of the cabling. So having the cabling for the storage drives on this side will also prevent like a bird's nest situation on the other side. It'll allow better airflow to the graphics cards, and it's an overall easier experience even if you want to do your own upgrade or show off your rig.
Cool. And pricing and release date?
So we're going to start at $16.99 in the US.
Okay. And you guys have a date or anything yet?
We're launching on October 28th, Tuesday morning. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Eddie.
Sure, no problem.